So as Mike Hayes said, I did an individually arranged trip this summer to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. A lot of y'all gave oohs and ahs when he said that, but I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all don't really know what it is. Just being honest. It's so Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. At 19,000 feet, it is ginormous. It's far above any airplane that you would ever get on. It's really, really, really high, really high. Anyway. So a lot of y'all are like, why would anybody want to do such a thing? That sounds horrendous. And it was awful. But the only reason that I did it was because my dad tricked me into doing it. It was a trick all along. He went when I was around 4 years old. My mom and my dad, they divorced when I was around 3. And him and his best friend did this as kind of like a feel better, you know what I'm saying? So he did this, and he came back with his full-grown beard, talking Swahili, looking like he knew what he was talking about. And he's like, bro, it's amazing. You got to come with me. I'm like, sure, like 4-year-old self. I was like, that sounds amazing. Let's do it. And I hate myself for saying that when I was 4. I really do. But I agreed to do it, and in my second semester, my freshman year at Lee, he calls me and he goes, Thomas, at the end of your mission trip, because I was doing a mission trip that summer to Tanzania anyway, he said, we're going to climb Kilimanjaro. You promised it to me when you were 4 years old. Let's do this. And I was like, wow, you really used that against me. But it really was an amazing time. So I decided that we were going to do this, and my dad was like, all right, well, I'm going to get in shape. I don't know what you're doing at Lee, but I'm running every day. I'm lifting weights, and I went ahead and lost 20 pounds. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Meanwhile, I was stress eating cookout trays, preparing for my final exams. So, amen, right? Amen. So I was in no shape to hike Mount Kilimanjaro whatsoever. Didn't prepare at all. Maybe hiked Star Mountain a couple times. And stayed the night up there. That was about it. So at the end of my mission trip, I show up. My dad flew in. We met up with the rest of our team, which is about 6 other people, and the 8 of us were going to hike Mount Kilimanjaro together. So we took a 3-hour bus trip to the base of Mount Kilimanjaro, and we met these 28 local Tanzanians. And they came up to us and they said, yeah, we're going to help you get up this mountain. And I was like, there's 8 of us and there's 28 of these guys. I mean, this must be pretty hard if you're going to carry all of our stuff. So it was pretty much a pampered camping trip because they carried all your stuff for you. They set up your tent, and they even brought a toilet along with them. There was like one guy that it was his job to carry the toilet, get rid of all the poop, get rid of all the pee. And he got a really great tip at the end of the week, but it was pretty awful. But anyway. So first day, we started off, and I'm thinking, okay, it's the first time, like it's the first day of the week, like it's probably gonna be a really relatively like easy hike, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like 2 hours in, I'm like, okay, well the base camp has to be soon, like there has to be a tent site like coming up close. And we ended up hiking for 8 hours into the pitch black through like the tropical rainforest of Mount Kilimanjaro. So it's hot, it's humid, there's bugs that I've never seen before, they're like really big, and I'm getting like really scared. And I'm like, so I'm just having all these doubts, like, this is going to be horrendous. I just had all, like, the wrong ideas that I was just going to hop off and just, like, turn back around. I was like, nah, this is just not worth it at all. So we got to the campsite finally. We set up, and I go in the tent, and the tent is, like, from there to there, and me and my dad have to lay in this thing together, and we're like have that much space in between us. And I realized that I'm gonna have to sleep that close to my dad for a whole week, and I was like, I like my dad, but that's not gonna be a whole lot of fun. So day by day, it just keeps getting worse. It's like 7-hour hikes each and every single day. But I was getting to know the guys on the team better and getting to know the locals a lot better too. And hearing their stories were just truly incredible. I mean, these guys hike Mount Kilimanjaro like 2 to 3 times a week just to get paid to like feed their families and stuff. It's incredible. And they've usually done it since they were like 15 years old. You ask them, it's like, when did you start hiking the mountain? I was like, oh, I used to carry bags on the top of my head, like 80-pound bags on top of their head, hiking the mountain like, as fast as they could to set up your tent site before you. And they've been doing it since they were 15 years old. And the oldest guy that was doing it was 65. And he was doing it like he was nothing. And we're like, man, you're running slow. And he was like, okay, you want me to go my speed? Let's go. So he started taking off, and he was like a mile ahead of us. I was like, okay, don't slow down, 65-year-old man. It's okay. It's okay. we get it. We get it. don't abuse us. Anyway. But the third day was the most eventful day because there's this thing called the Baranga Wall. And you actually have to rock climb for 3 hours. Yeah, like free rock climb, no ropes, no like anything. You're just like free climbing for 3 hours. And you look back and it's just a drop, a really long way. So we're hiking like that for 3 hours. But the worst part is those porters, the people that were holding the stuff, are doing it with 80-pound bags on their head, and they're just walking past you like it's nothing. And you're so scared, and you're like nervously climbing up these rocks, and they're just doing it with an 80-pound bag on their head, just running right past you. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Anyway, but a couple days later, we finally reached the campsite where we were going to summit. Like, this is the day. We are hyped. We're finally going to get off this mountain. It's terrible. I've been sleeping in a tent. I've been eating really bad food. It's time to get off this mountain. So we get to the tent site the day before we hike Kilimanjaro, and the leader of the trip comes in and tells us that we're going to begin our hike at midnight in the pitch black when it's really, really cold. I don't know if y'all know this, but when you get higher, it gets colder. So it was really, really, really cold. And at night, we had to like be in sleeping bags with sweatpants, with hoodies, and like covering your face up to like here. So you're sleeping like that, just trying to keep warm. So he tells us that we're going to start our hike at midnight in the pitch black so that we can get up and see the sunrise. So at midnight, all 8 of us get in a line with our headlamps on, and you're only looking at the people in front of you, and you're just going up for 7 hours in the pitch black, can't see a thing. It's 16 degrees. 16 degrees, yeah, that's not Celsius, that's Fahrenheit. It's really cold. Anyway, so you're following this line of people for 7 hours, and I just was like, I'm so done. I don't know when this thing's going to end. I kept looking up, and I was like, I bet that rock right there is the summit. And then we get to the rock, and then there was like another rock, and I was like, that's it. And I just kept doing that for like 5 hours, and I was like, I'm really tired of playing this game. This is not a game anymore. It's just not fun. So finally, they were like, okay, the summit's right there. And I was like, I swear if you lie to me one more time, I will fall off this mountain. So they told me it's right there, and I was like, sure, okay. But that last little 100 meters is probably the steepest thing in the world. And my heart was beating out of my chest, and I was like, this is it. I'm just going to roll off this mountain right here. And hopefully, like, I just land in such a way that I don't die, and that I'll be at the base of the mountain, because I don't want to hike the rest of the way down. But finally, I see the sign. I was like, okay, this is the summit. And when you hike, I don't know if any of y'all know anything about hiking, but you do these little like switchbacks things. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, screw the switchback. I'm running straight to the summit. I'm running straight to that sign, and I'm laying down, and I'm going to die right there. So that's exactly what I did. I sprinted as fast as I could to that sign. I found a rock. I threw all my stuff to the ground, and I laid on that rock for a good 15 minutes recovering with my heart beating out of my chest. And my dad comes over, and he's trying to have an emotional moment with me because, I mean, this is an amazing thing. And I'm like, Dad, I'm about to die. I get this was an amazing moment for you, and it was for me too, but I can't breathe right now. Just give me like 10 minutes. But anyway, I'm laying on this rock, and suddenly I see the sun begin to rise over the horizon, and it's absolutely beautiful and just awe-inspiring. And after I finally catch my breath, I begin to realize where I was. I was 19,000 feet in the air, far above any airplane or any clouds in sight. And I just began to take in the beauty and creation of God. And I was like, wow, I'm so small and so minute to your creation, God. Yet you have chosen me, you have saved me, and you've loved me like I can't even imagine. Like, you are so good and you are so great. And then they're like, okay, time to get back down the mountain. And I was like, we were up here for 5 minutes. We hiked for 5 days, and you want me to get down this mountain? And they're like, yeah, and you took a picture. So we took the picture, and we left. And that on that same day where we started the hike at midnight, we got down the mountain around 7 a.m. We got down from the mountain around 9 a.m. They're like, okay, you can take a 2-hour nap, and then we have another 5-hour hike to get to another campsite, and then tomorrow you'll get off the mountain. So you didn't even get an off day. But eventually we made it off the mountain. We made it to the bottom, and me and my dad came home, and it was just an amazing trip. So thank you.